Ain't no front in my name. If I give my heart, I don't take it back. Real one love and it's staying away. 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 They say love easy, not as care. It's
Good afternoon, guys. We're going to get into some things today behind the headlines, where everything is allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. We have a couple things we're going to get into, including some updates in the Diddy documentary that I want to go over, as far as the vice president tweeting about Nicki Minaj. And we also have many other things coming up as well, including some updates and some dockets and some cases regarding Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez. So first, I actually want to get into, we have a space mission actually coming up here. So I want to pull that up for you guys. This is for Artemis 2. Let me turn this on for you guys. So these 4 astronauts will venture around the moon on Artemis 2, the first crewed mission on NASA's path to establishing a long-term presence at the moon for science and exploration through Artemis. It's going to be a 10-day flight, and it's going to help to confirm systems and hardware needed for early human lunar exploration missions. They're actually going to get this done on April 2026. But of course, again, it's so amazing seeing what's possible beyond Earth. So we definitely want to shout out these astronauts leaving in April. And let me actually pull up, because I want to see the names of the astronauts, because we always want to say their name of who goes above and beyond to advance the human race. So we have, they don't have Reed Wiseman here. He's one of the astronauts. Let me see here. We also have Victor Glover, we have Christina Koch, and we have Jeremy Hansen. So just be on the lookout for that there. The next thing I want to get into is just some updates of what's going on with the Diddy documentary. So I was actually looking into Kirk Burroughs. Kirk Burroughs was the COO of Bad Boy Entertainment. He actually filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, and he was also in a documentary as well. So I just want to go over some things he did. I noticed that he did do an interview before, as far as with another podcast. So I'm just gonna pull that up for you guys and see what some things Kirk said about Puff and Biggie. Let me take a look here.
Biggie. When Biggie was in LA, was he getting death threats?
We were getting threats all along, all around. The threats was continuous. The threats was before we left to go there. Threats that was as loose as fans that just fans of Tupac that thought the way that they thought. Threats that were fans of the West Coast in general. People that didn't like us on the East because we thought we were too much of ourselves or for ourselves. Enemies that we made along the way that definitely wanted to see us fall, and a lot. It was a noise-filled environment with that negativity coming at us. When you are looking at success and you have a lot of success coming your way, hence the song, "More Money, More Problems." It was that time period. The songs were true to what was going on.
Did you have any conversations with Diddy telling him that it wasn't a good idea to go to LA?
Plenty of times. The relationship was, I was almost like an older big bro as the years went on. The ego, his success was matched by the ego. His ego was matched by the sales of his success. So he started listening less and less. I still had my powerful position. I was still easy to be fired, but he still looked on to me to be the one to do the job. I was loyal. I was trustworthy. I was there in his worst of times. On 2 or 3 different occasions, he was down and out and had to be pulled back, blown up, resuscitated, and put back in the race again. And that's Kirk Burroughs. People look at Andre Harrell and say Andre and Diddy That's the Hollywood story. Yes, Andre and Diddy. Andre discovered him as an intern. Andre gave him his opportunity. Those records are there at Uptown. We were fired from Uptown. You couldn't live off of that legacy that he made at Uptown. The legacy of money and wealth came from the legacy that he and I created at Bad Boy the moment we left Uptown. And I was there right by his side through those ups and downs too. And we created, through the mischief that he would cause with these decisions that didn't make sense to me or other people who might try to rein him in, you had to go along with the fact that some of the other decisions that he made on the creative side brought that money in. And in his world, I'm never wrong. Our world, we have to be cautious and take the best of these ideas, slow up the crazy stuff. And that was a lot of my job to do. And it was hard to keep him from slowing up on those things as the success kept building up, as nothing would happen. See, I told you. And then we were on to the next thing. And of course, something eventually happened.
From your point of view, you being the president of Bad Boy at that time, do you think Biggie was happy on Bad Boy? Do you think he was planning on leaving?
I feel that he was happy about his career. He was happy about the blow up. He was always on the line. He never let us feel comfortable like, oh, y'all did me right. Oh, I'm loving you guys right now. He would never give it up like that. He would always have us under pressure to keep doing it bigger and better. I honestly, when I look back on it, if he trusted Sean more, it would have been better. But he didn't trust him as much as the way Sean says they were best friends after he was dead. No, I didn't see that during the time we were working with him. I see that as an emotional cry out after he's gone. I saw him as wanting his music and everything to be right, have the number ones, and we delivered that. I think there might have been a little bit of a hole or a gap when it came time to people being friends. I think Sean wanted friendship too. He might have wanted the best friend thing. Biggie came with his friends and came with everything and was about to open up to the world with all kinds of new friends and new people.
And if you want to watch the rest of that, you can actually watch that on The Art of Dialogue. Now, Andre Harrell was actually a mentor for Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Andre Harrell was actually a founder of Uptown Records in the 1980s. And he was also an innovative music executive producer as well. So moving forward, as far as with Kirk Burroughs, in addition to him being the COO, again, as it came out in the documentary, Sean Combs' forced coercion of the 25% stake he had in the company. Also, he said he went at him with the baseball bat. So he complied and signed away ownership. Moving forward, it also says he was fired 90 days later after that incident. And People magazine also states some more things here. Let me take a look at that to make sure I don't miss anything. Let's see. Yes, the former Bad Boy Entertainment COO claimed that he was forced to witness nudity, sexual overtones, voyeurism, and acts of exhibitionism during what he believed to be business meetings. According to the complaint, the alleged harassment occurred during 1992 and 1994. So moving along here, yes. So he did file charges against Sean Diddy. The charges was dismissed. He also filed RICO charges against him as well, and his mother Janice, for a fraudulent scheme. But here's my thing. With going over that information with Kirk, right? We also heard about Little Rod, how Little Rod said Diddy allegedly showed him a video. He seen the video. It was inappropriate. It was about a white man doing stuff he had no business as far as sexual undertones, right? So then, if all this is happening, I have to ask, does toxic masculinity not exist anymore? I mean, I think it would be very important for men to protect themselves, and I think toxic masculinity is absolutely necessary. In my opinion, a lot of women may say, okay, it's 2025, girl. But at the end of the day, I feel like men have to protect themselves. I feel like you think Diddy could have did this to Naughty by Nature? No. They would have stumped him out in them Timberland boots. And it is ridiculous. So moving forward here, and again, I'm not protecting Diddy, but I am just saying, we want to look at the full story here. I want to think about things as if I was on a jury, like we saw Aubrey O'Day in the documentary. Yes, an affidavit came forward where someone allegedly says Aubrey O'Day was taken advantage of by Diddy and one of his security team, where she was allegedly drugged and raped, right? But moving along, we also saw where there was emails that Diddy sent her. And she said she didn't want to actually come forward with it because if that person was telling false tales, she didn't want to be looked at as a liar. But again, I always want to have the full story. Like, when is enough enough? So if you believe to this to be true as a woman, right? We know when something happened with our poom poom, even if you are, I've never been drugged, but I would assume if you wake up after something like this happens to you, you're going to feel it down there, right? So she woke up one day after this assault and she didn't feel nothing funny with going on with her poom poom, with her mouth. Okay. I want to see those emails. Yes, on that documentary, she showed the emails Diddy sent her. Baby girl, let's see the responses you sent him. Okay? I'm tired of half stories and half truths. And they like to do this a lot when it comes to, of course, painting a narrative and painting a picture. But we have to see the full scope of things. And again, this is another reason why Diddy was not convicted of a RICO charge, because they did not successfully prove. You have to show evidence. You have to prove it. They have to look at the grand scheme of things. So moving forward here, let me know what you guys think about that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Moving forward here, so Vice President Jay-Z Vance actually tweeted Nicki Minaj. As we know, Nicki Minaj just spoke out at the United Nations in regard to the Christians being executed in Nigeria. It doesn't matter who you are, what's your religion, what's your background, but we know that is not right. Okay, no one deserves to be persecuted just because of who they worship. You have little girls being taken from their homes in Nigeria. Nicki Minaj has ties and a lot of fans in Nigeria, as well as pastors and people that she speaks with. So it's a cause that she's very passionate to. Again, everybody has a cause that they are passionate about. You can't say, well, why did she speak up about this? Why did she speak up about that? What have you spoke up about lately? Let us know, okay? When you speak up about something, when you put your heart on the line about something that is passionate to you, then you can speak on it. But until then, please, again, keep Nigeria in your prayers. Hopefully that's get resolved. But apparently, I guess they deleted the tweet, people. They deleted the tweet. But he said Nicki Cardi. We all know that is true, of course. Yeah, we know Nicki Minaj is the queen of rap, in my opinion. But I don't know, that might be a fact based on her having one of the top 10 hip-hop tours in history. Her tour gross was 108 million. She sold millions of records. She has bars, metaphors, and punchlines. So I don't know, you guys decide. Moving along here, I actually have some updates, right? Because we want to get into this Rock Nation stuff here. So apparently, Desiree Perez, she is the CEO of Rock Nation, right? So her daughter, Demarie Halley, is actually suing her, okay? I actually have a video on that that's coming from the news here, News South NBC 6 in Florida here. Let's take a look at this.
Under state law, people can be forced into a facility for a mental health evaluation if, among other reasons, they are a danger to themselves or others.
But in a new lawsuit, a South Florida woman says that she was held in mental institutions for nearly 2 weeks for no legitimate reason. And she shared body camera video that she says proves her case and raises questions about how this law meant to protect people can be implemented. NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Viteri takes a closer look.
Prevent me from leaving alone.
The incident started on March 27th of last year.
So legally, I can't go home.
No.
Why?
Body camera video shows Broward Sheriff's deputies met on the side of the road in Dania Beach by this man.
I'm waiting for a car to go by. There's a girl driving it. She's like kind of mentally unstable person.
BSO has not responded to inquiries about who called the deputies there, but it appears they're taking direction from the man in the gray t-shirt.
She's heading over here right now. Yes, they have a GPS on her.
He asks deputies to follow him to a nearby parking lot once she arrives.
I have a doctor, Dr. Bogle from Hollywood Memorial Hospital, who's over there right now, waiting for her to show up. He's going to bake her out.
And when I showed up, it obviously was not an estimate.
Demore Hadley says she was lured to that parking lot by someone posing as a potential client for the landscaping company she runs with her then boyfriend, now husband. But according to her lawsuit, when she showed up, she was approached by several people, including Dr. Daniel Bober, the chief of psychiatry at Memorial Regional Hospital, who also runs a private practice and has been featured as a mental health expert on media outlets, including NBC6.
I already knew I had intuition. Something is not right here.
Deputies also had questions for those present, at least at first.
Who are you guys? So we're a mobile crisis team working with Dr. Bogle from Hollywood Memorial Hospital. Okay.
Memorial Healthcare tells us there is no mobile crisis team affiliated with the hospital, and Dr. Bober did not respond to our inquiry. We found the people seen here, James Fondo and Stephen and Jessica Cady, are actually owners of Sig9, a private security company. The men, both former high-ranking BSO officers, according to their bios.
Am I being detained?
The Baker Act, which Dr. Bober was citing, allows a physician to order someone they've examined in the previous 48 hours be held against their will in a mental health facility if they pose a risk to themselves or others, and the doctor can ask law enforcement to take them there.
You tell my doctor he's never seen me in my life.
A concern Demore raises several times in the video.
He's a doctor. He's part of the mobile crisis unit.
I've never spoken to him.
I don't care.
And she also says he never examined her. On the Baker Act paperwork, Dr. Bober certified he did that exam at 5:56 p.m. that day. The same time, video shows them all still in that parking lot. He diagnosed her with an unspecified psychosis, adding she was a risk to herself.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
He told me we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before and you're being Baker acted. And my question was like, what are you talking about?
Experts tell us it's common for doctors to take families' concerns into account, and ultimately the decision to Baker Act someone is up to the healthcare professional on scene. In the lawsuit, Demore says she has no mental health history and does not use illegal drugs. She also shared records from Memorial Regional showing drug test results from that day were negative.
I have concerns about how all of this happened.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demore in the lawsuit she filed this month, alleging she spent nearly 2 weeks falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act, a similar law that allows involuntary substance abuse treatment. She claims it all stems from an ongoing dispute between Demore and her own mother, who denies the allegations, saying in a motion to dismiss the lawsuit that the family attempted to get help out of concern for her daughter's physical and mental well-being.
I've been practicing law for 20 years and I've never seen a case like this before.
Demore's lawsuit claims deputies never verified the identity of the individuals on scene and took their word despite Demore repeatedly voicing concerns. In a statement, Sig9 says they were engaged by a licensed mental health professional to assist with a voluntary transport for psychiatric evaluation to avoid the need for law enforcement intervention.
So
I can't drive myself?
No, you're going to have to go with them.
Video shows Demore asked to be transported by deputies and was told this.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, the dog's not going to be able to come?
I'm not being handcuffed.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to wait. We're going to take you to their vehicle.
A deputy encourages Demore to get into this truck.
You can't just force a woman into a dark gray truck without validating or verifying the story that's being told.
A BSO spokesperson says the incident is now under review.
I don't think I've ever felt so alone and unseen and unheard in my whole entire life.
Memorial Healthcare tells us they can't talk about this case because of the pending lawsuit. Dr. Bober told us initially he couldn't discuss the case because of privacy restrictions. Then DeMaurier provided a release allowing him to speak with us, but so far we have not heard back. In a statement, Sig9 denied the allegations, adding, "Our role was limited, lawful, and conducted in good faith under the direction of a licensed physician." Again, DeMaurier's mother denies any wrongdoing, claiming her actions are based on legitimate concern. Coming up tomorrow, we take you inside this legal fight involving some wild allegations. Amy Viteri, NBC6 News.
And of course, this is still ongoing because we actually have some updates on this case, right? I definitely want to say justice for DeMaurier Halley, because moving along, if her mother, the CEO of Roc Nation, can do this to her, what do you think she can do to other people, right? This is not a coincidence. We see her putting doctors under her hand. We see her falsifying paperwork. We see that DeMaurier has her paperwork because, again, we look at facts and we look at data. DeMaurier has paperwork, in my opinion, showing that she has not taken any drugs for her to be illegally Baker Acted under the Florida law. Also, let's look at the facts, right? It seems like Desiree, allegedly, and in my opinion, has a lot of ties in Florida. Hence, Megan became a Florida resident a month after she sued Milagro Grams for defamation, the depiction of the fake sex tape, and it was something else she sued her for, right? But apparently this law in Florida just came into effect. And how funny, all of a sudden, and we saw in the court documents related by, of course, Megan Cuniff, a journalist, as well as through the transcripts, that Megan Thee Stallion sent a text to Desiree Perez and asked if, in my opinion, does she have a file or does she have the information on Milagro Grams because she wants to sue her. And Desiree Perez said yes, right? So they're keeping files on her, they're plotting and they're planning. And again, she sent that text months and months before the lawsuit even came about. So it's important, to keep these little things in the back of your mind as far as with political ties, right? We see, as far as with the Democratic election, with the election for Kamala Harris, we've seen Megan Thee Stallion on stage twerking for Kamala Harris. We've seen Cardi B speaking there. We've seen Beyonce speak, right? And it's in my opinion that Beyonce is speaking up at this Democratic political rally. But of course, when her and her spouse Jay-Z is hosting a dinner, they actually have Trump's children in attendance at their dinner, right? So it is, in my opinion, that they use these Democratic ties when they are not, in fact, Democrats, and they use it to set agendas. And moving forward, people are upset with Nicki Minaj aligning herself with Republicans when, in fact, it is documented and it is known that her house has been swatted multiple times. And she's reached out to Democrats and Governor Newsom out of California in regards to her house being swatted. Okay, she has a 5-year-old baby in her home. They are drawing guns on her, and the Democratic Party did nothing. Okay, so she wants to reach out to Republicans if they're willing to help her. It's not about your personal opinions. You are not her. It's about her and her family. Okay. So moving forward here, let's go look at these updates. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a look here. Let me make sure I get these updates. Let's see. Yes. All right. So with the Halley case, right? Let me pull open these documents here. All right, so there has actually been an update. Okay, so let me look at this. All right, let me look at this document. All right. So what they were trying to do in the Demery Hadley case against her mother, Desiree Perez, the CEO of Rock Nation, right? Again, I'm just going off of the paperwork. This is all allegedly and in my opinion and based on the documents. So they were trying to get the body cam footage in. They were trying to throw out the body cam footage as we just saw in the video for the news network that showed footage of actually her trying to be Baker acted by a doctor that her mother, Desiree Perez, the CEO of Rock Nation, hired. So moving forward here. So Demory Hadley files this motion for conventional filing of body-worn camera footage as part of her motion to dismiss Daniel Bober's counterclaim. And Daniel Bober, of course, was a part of that outpatient facility that they were trying to they did commit her to under the Baker Act. Demery states the following: as the court is well aware, Demery alleges that her mother, Desiree Perez, of course, she's the CEO of Rock Nation. We all know Rock Nation is the label that Jay-Z has co-founded. So again, Desiree Perez is the CEO, and she conspired with Dr. Bober and Broward County Sheriff Deputies Jordan Dennis and Joseph Reeves to detain her in a marina parking lot, force her into a mental health facility, and attempt to justify their illegal conduct under Florida's Baker Act statute. Here we go with Florida again. Remember, Megan Thee Stallion took Milagro to court in Florida under the new falsified sex tape act and that law just passed. So here's Florida's coming up again. So it looks like they're using states' laws to their advantage. So the majority of the March 27, 2024 encounter was captured on the deputy's body-worn camera. On May 9, 2025, Demery filed a civil rights complaint against Desiree. Dr. Bober, Sig-9, and the BSO officers and others for false arrest, imprisonment. That's what she's suing the others for as well. And Demery's complaint frequently referenced the BWC footage and even included screenshots from the videos. Demery's complaint immediately garnered national attention because her mother is the CEO of Rock Nation and because of the bizarre circumstances surrounding the case. Several media personalities requested to interview Demery. Demery also posted about the incident on her social media profiles, which included screenshots from the BWC footage. After constant criticism, some defendants took measures to silence free speech. For instance, Desiree Perez and Rock Nation filed fraudulent copyright infringement claims. CTS Research filed a frivolous defamation lawsuit against a Canadian social media blogger. And here, Dr. Bober filed a frivolous counterclaim against Demery for defamation. Okay, so this is important because this is going to be the next step in the update of the case. Dr. Bober, the doctor that allegedly Desiree Perez assigned him to take Demery and commit her to this mental health facility, filed a frivolous counterclaim to Demery's lawsuit against Demery for defamation. In his counterclaim, Dr. Bober alleged that Demery's online description of what, let's see, hopefully it starts off where we left off. Let's see. Of what occurred on March 27, 2024, and the marina parking lot was false. So he's alleging that what happened in the marina parking lot was false. Dr. Bober even included screenshots from Demery's social media posts, which included screenshots of the BWC footage from the side of the road. Okay, so at first she just included the screenshots of the BWC footage. Obviously, what occurred on the side of the road is central to Dr. Bober's defamation claim and Demery's truth defense. The 11th Circuit has repeatedly held that a court may consider video footage attached to a motion to dismiss without converting the motion into one for summary judgment if it is 1. Central to the plaintiff's claims, and 2. Undisputed, meaning that its authenticity is not challenged. Okay, here's some case law here, ruling that the plaintiff's reference to the document and the complaint is no longer required. See another precedent set. Defendant's submission of body camera footage from the day of the shooting was permissible in a dismissal motion. Okay. Here, the court should consider the BWC footage from the incident because the footage is central to whether Demery's post contained a false statement that Dr. Bober abducted her, and 2, the unbiased BWC footage cannot be disputed. Wherefore, Plaintiff Demory Halley respectfully requests that this honorable court enter an order allowing her to conventionally file an electronic copy of the BWC footage from the Baker Act incident on March 27, 2024. Now, we are reading this legal document, right? Dr. Bober is clearly stating, in my opinion, what I'm getting from his statement is that the video is false. This incident is false. It did not happen. And this is my problem with these people in these high power positions. The Rock Nation CEO having people under her thumb to make these decisions and make them feel untouchable. We literally sat here and watched the footage published by NBC6 News in South Florida with the officer's body cam. Okay, he thinks he's untouchable because he's been working for Desiree Perez. He thinks that this footage will not get out, and lo and behold, here is what happened. Okay, there has been an update. There has been a new filing. Okay, let me get to that and let me see what that says. So there has been an update. Let's see here. I think my screen is too big. Let me see if I can maybe... Here's the top page. See, I like all the documents. I don't like a piece of the document. Well, if you want to pull it up, okay. So we have the case number here. If you want to look for yourself, of course, this is the case number here. Of course, you can look through. There's things like PACER and other things. You can actually look at court documents for yourself if you want to see that. But let's look into this, right? So this is a legal document. This is the case number here. Upon review, the court is persuaded by the plaintiff's argument. While Florida law does not explicitly prohibit the dismissal with prejudice. So dismissal with prejudice means nothing else can come in at all. For failing to comply with the pre-suit notice requirements of the Florida Medical Malpractice Act, Florida courts have held that noncompliance with pre-suit notice is not fatal to a claim and that plaintiffs should be allowed to cure procedure deficiencies if the statute of limitations has not expired. Okay, so that's another case here that sets precedence. Y'all, I can't see. I'm kind of blind. So let me zoom this a little bit so I can see. Okay. Anyway, dismissal of lawsuit in a medical malpractice action for failure to give required notice was not bar to filing a second action based on the same cause. This is another case law. If the court's ruling is not on the merits and there is still time to comply with the pre-suit notice requirements, plaintiffs should not be barred from bringing a claim. So, the pre-suit notice required was raised by the defendant in the respective motions to dismiss, and plaintiff responded that the pre-suit notice requirements did not apply. The court determined the claims required a pre-suit notice and dismissed with prejudice counts against defendants for plaintiff's failure to comply. Because the 2-year statute of limitations has yet to expire in plaintiff's case, The court grants plaintiff's motion as to counts. The court amends its prior order to reflect dismissal of these counts without prejudice. Conclusion. Okay, so let's get to the conclusion. Accordingly, it is ordered and adjudged as follows. The plaintiff's motion is granted as to these counts here, as the defendant's South Broward Hospital District and Life Skills South Florida Outpatient LLC in the court's prior order. This, let's see what this file is amended to reflect dismissal without prejudice as to these counts. So without prejudice means they can bring stuff in. As to defendants, Southborough Hospital District and Life Skills South Florida Outpatient, plaintiff's motion is denied. Okay, so as to Southborough Hospital District and Life Skills, their plaintiff motion is denied. Okay, so let's get into something else here. So they're having claims reopened in the state conspiracy case against, because again, this was initially a state conspiracy case. The judge knocked those rulings off and kept the civil rights complaints open, but removed the conspiracy case, right? So without prejudice, they're allowed to, in my opinion, based on what I've read, they're allowed to bring in other parties without prejudice. Okay, so let's get into something else here that's important. Okay, I want to get into... Sorry, this one, let's see. I don't want to get into all of these documents, but moving forward here. So with going through the documents, the judge has allowed that the body cam footage come in, right? Because again, Dr. Bobo was stating this did not happen at all. This was false. This did not happen. So the judge granted that Demoria Haley is able to bring that body cam footage in. Okay. She's also going to open the other complaints that Demoria Haley has as well. Okay. So we're going to keep on a lookout for those updates as well. Again, this is the paperwork if you want to go to and look at those dockets as far as what's going on. And here's my thing. If she will do this to her daughter, what do you think these CEOs of these companies are doing? She's using company resources to Baker act her daughter. That is crazy. That is crazy. And if she'll do it to her, there's no telling what they have done to other artists as well. And that's our whole thing. All right. So let's see what else we have going on today. Let me see something. Alrighty, guys. So that's all I have for today. Let me know what you guys want to talk about in the comments. Please make sure you like and subscribe so I can give you more news behind the headlines. You guys actually make sure you enjoy the rest of your night. Happy Thursday. Bye, guys.
Ain't no front in my name. If I give my heart, I don't take it back. Real one love and they stand on that. 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 They say love easy, nah.